Welcome back to American Agenda. Well, just in time for the holidays, a warning from the Centers for Disease Control. The new COVID variant JN1 is now the fastest growing variant in the United States. About 20% of new infections are due to JN1, and in the Northeast, it's being blamed for a third of new cases.
Okay, well, so how concerned should you be as you head out to that family gathering this Christmas? For that, we're going to bring in the experts here. Founder and president of Healthy Tennessee, Nashville trauma surgeon, Dr. Manny Sethi, and internist for Custom Care Medical, Dr. Frank Contessessa here. Dr. Sethi, let's start with you. How scared should we be? Oh, we have Jeanette Hoffman, a Republican strategist just as well. Sorry, Jeanette.
Thanks, Bob.
I skipped over you. I didn't mean to do that.
No worries.
Makes it fun here. Dr. Sethi, the new variant here of COVID here. Should we be worried about it?
Well, thanks for having me. You know, the short answer is no. I think that over the coming years, we're going to see a lot of different variants. This is another variant of Omicron. Just be wise when you go out, wash your hands. If someone's sick, kind of stay away from them, that kind of thing. But again, you know, the CDC, I think, is just unnecessarily scaring folks. Not any major really rises in hospitalizations, et cetera. So my advice is enjoy your Christmas break and don't worry about this.
That's what we like to hear. All right, Dr. Frank. So we do know, of course, that it's not only COVID that is a problem, but 'tis the season, not just for Christmas, but also for the flu. We know this is the time when those cases are on the rise. We're also hearing the CDC is urging Americans to get vaccinated for RSV, COVID, and the flu. Do you agree with that recommendation? Is that overkill, or does that depend on who those individuals are?
Well, I think, Katrina, nice to be with you guys today. I think it very much depends on who those people are. The flu shot is a general, broad recommendation I go along with. I'm not really recommending that anybody get the COVID shot, the current shot, other than really high-risk people or people who make that decision with their doctors. For the general people, my healthy younger population, or even healthy older people, I'm not really pushing this current COVID booster because its efficacy is relatively low for the strains that we see circulating right now. And the risk-benefit profile really it's not in the right direction anymore. So I'm not urging that. I'm holding judgment on the RSV vaccine. It's brand new. There's really very little data other than what was presented by the pharmaceutical company for its initial authorization. So I'm not urging a lot of people, unless people are immunocompromised or high risk, then I say maybe think about it. But for the general population, I'm not. RSV tends to cause relatively mild disease. It's like having a cold. Most people have had RSV. They don't even know it because we don't normally test for it. The reason that a lot of cases, the case numbers are up is because we test more for it. When people get swabbed for COVID and have a PCR test done, they often also check for RSV. So we're seeing more positive cases, but a lot of people had RSV in the past. They just didn't know it.
I have a question. As a parent, I have 4 kids in 4 different schools, and my kindergartner just came home and said, Mom, there's only 3 boys that are in school right now. The rest of them are out sick. So to one of the doctors, what can parents do to keep their kids healthy and safe in schools right now?
Yeah, Dr. Sethi, go ahead.
You know, I would just say that's something. It's funny you're mentioning that. We're seeing the same stuff. I have a 10-year-old and 8-year-old. I think the basic things are really hand hygiene. I am a big fan of washing your hands as much as you can when you're around folks, especially before you eat something, because that's the way you can catch, you know, the flu, or you get is all of that kind of transmission from your hands to your mouth or nose. And so really encourage your kids to wash their hands. The other thing is, I think vitamin C is an incredible thing. It really supercharges your immune system. So get your kids to drink OJ, vitamin C tablets, whatever you can do. But those are some really basic things. And get enough sleep. You know, sleep helps your immune system. These are all very basic and simple things you can do.
So you're saying fruits and vegetables, they should listen to their mom and eat their fruits and vegetables?
So, Jeanette, I have another question for you here. How sick do one of your kids have to be in order to stay home from school?
That's a good question.
Bob, they have to have a fever. I mean, that's it. Like, they have to have a fever to stay home. Or they have to be vomiting. Fever or vomiting.
I agree.
I thought that was going to be the response.
I mean, come on.
Wow, tough crowd.
I'm a tough mom.
No, you're a great mom. You're a great mom. All right. I don't know. Do we still have time? Oh,
yeah,
you know
do.
what I want to ask about?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to get into this. We're changing topics a little bit here. Celine Dion has been in the news a lot for her very odd and very rare disease. She officially has lost control over her muscles. It's called stiff person syndrome. It eventually can affect her vocal cords and even her heart. Dr. Frank, what is this syndrome all about? Is it something that there's a potential cure for?
Well, sure. This is really, it's a sad and very difficult diagnosis. This is literally a 1 in a million diagnosis. Wow. It's rare, which, does a couple of things. Number one, when something is so rare, it's very difficult to develop new treatments for it because there's not a lot of money to be made. So these things sort of fall to the wayside a little bit. It's an autoimmune disease, meaning it's something that the immune system attacks your own tissue. And what it causes is uncontrollable muscle spasms, painful muscle spasms that cause stiffness and pain across the body. And as it progresses, and it inevitably does progress and get worse, and it's very difficult to do much about other than just treat symptomatically with things like muscle relaxers and immunoglobulin. But there's very little to do to stop the actual progression, and it turns into a painful syndrome where they literally lose control over their own muscles. And if you think about it, the vocal cords are muscles, the heart is a muscle, and that's even her sister had mentioned that she's starting to have difficulty with these things. So it's a very, very sad diagnosis. Thankfully, it's rare, but maybe this will bring some awareness of it, and maybe there'll be some research, and we certainly pray for her and her family.
Yeah, I mean, I know, sorry to interrupt, but I know that her family does have their own sort of foundation, and so they are urging people who may have some suggestions of research that can be done to come forward. But again, you said, Dr. Frank, it's a 1 in a million diagnosis, and I mean, of course, we know Celine Dion is even beyond that, kind of a once in a lifetime talent.
Once in a lifetime generation, yeah. One of the best to ever do it.
Wow.
It breaks your heart to hear that. We send our sympathies that way. Dr. Manny Sethi, though, Dr. Frank Contessessa, we thank you both for joining us. Jeanette Hoffman, you stick around. Yeah, see, I remembered you this time.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
It's impossible to forget that great mom. All right.